The Mavericks get the big Windy City dub to go to 3-1 on their East Coast road trip. We'll break it all down coming up next on the DLS Mavs postgame show. Hey, what's up, DLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLS Mavs, your favorite guys, come your favorite team as the Mavericks get it done on the road over the Chicago Bulls 120-119. 7 guys in double figures, including Klay Thompson, who had the game-sealing free throws with 6 seconds left to deliver the Mavericks their third win in 4 games on their East Coast road trip. We'll break it all down here for you over the course of the next hour. Appreciate you joining us here on DLS Sports. Tim Cato, Bobby Carella, the Mavericks now 37-38 on the year, go 2-0 against Orlando and Chicago, moving that much closer to securing a spot in the top 10 in the play-in. A good win for the Mavericks tonight on the road.
Yeah, I mean, this was a playoff type effort, a playoff type. This is a team that wants to get into the 9th seed, and that's where they currently are. All 5 starters played 30-plus minutes. There's another, Najee Marshall off the bench played 27. After that, it was just people kind of playing the role. Caleb Martin, not very effective, played 6 minutes. That's it. Jaden Hardy, this is not a situation. The Dallas Mavericks are not treating these games like, this is just winding down the season. We'll see what happens. They're treating it like they're going to win. They want to win. They want to make the playoffs. They want to make the play-in and get to the playoffs. You can see it from the minute patterns, and you can see it from the effort. And this is a team that just lasted a very good Chicago Bulls team that made it tricky, made it difficult at times, but this is a team that is very single-focused in what they're trying to do. There's no doubt about that. I know there's a lot of debates, understandable debates, ones we engaged in about what Dallas should do. It's very clear what Dallas is doing. They rode their starters, and they got the win that they needed.
Go ahead.
No, we both inhaled at the same time.
We did.
It was like synchronized breathing. What a beautiful moment.
That's right.
We as the show has gone on, we've started to get some chemistry in terms of just like knowing when the beats are going to come.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not always.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect science.
Well, we breathe at the same time. We wear DLS shirts at the same time.
But breathing in sync is great. Breathing in general, I think, is one of my favorite things to do.
I would agree.
Top 5 for sure.
Coming into this game, the Bulls had scored at least 20 points on the fast break in 6 straight games. Now, they got 21 tonight. But the reason that I am actually happy that the number is that low, and honestly surprised that the number is that low, is given who was available for the Mavs. They played long stretches of this game with Dinwiddie and Klay and AD, who is very clearly still not quite 100%.
Agreed.
And then you got like Najee out there, or sometimes you have, just like PJ even is like pretty athletic, but he's, the Bulls are just so fast, dude. So I was really afraid coming into this game that the Bulls were just going to get run out, every turnover into a dunk. And that just didn't really happen. Chicago only 7 of 14 on the fast break. And, there's this kind of recent precedent in a lot of the losses the Mavs have had lately. You go back to that game against the Knicks. The Knicks scored 27 fast break points. Houston, 28 fast break points. The game they lost to the Spurs, whenever we thought De'Aaron Fox might have ended their season, the Spurs had 29 fast break points. It is hard to muster up the juice to get back on defense whenever you're on the road, especially against a team that's younger than you, more athletic than you. The Bulls have been feeling themselves lately, but the Mavs dug deep and they got it done. I mean, it's a very, very, very impressive physical effort to exert, the energy that they needed, and then also to execute down the stretch too.
Bulls tried to make a comeback in that fourth quarter. They went on an 11-2 run, but Spencer Dinwiddie's layup with 36 seconds left stopped that run to put the Mavs up 5 at 118 to 113. The Mavs were able to hang on down the stretch to get the win. It's their fourth win in their last 5 games for Dallas, as I mentioned, moving them to 37-38 on the year and now 17-22 on the road this season. Chicago dropping to 33-41 on the year. PJ Washington with a big night, 19 points for him. Anthony Davis with 18 points. How about Spencer Dinwiddie with his 4th double-double of the season? My man had 14 points and 11 assists.
He really wanted 16, KG.
Oh, my gosh, if he wanted 16.
He wanted 16 so bad.
He went full ISO on one of those possessions late in the fourth quarter and wound up throwing it off the top of the backboard, hitting the shot clock. But aside from that, he did have 11 points in the fourth quarter, which were huge for Dallas. The Mavericks converted 27 points off of 19 Chicago Bulls turnovers tonight. So scoring off the turnovers for Dallas, but more importantly, this team finding a way to close it out. I know Vucevic hit the 3 to make it a 1-point game at the end, but the Mavericks made some key plays down the stretch, which I think bodes well for them in terms of some late game execution. You saw that tonight against Chicago, against a team that had been pretty hot coming into tonight's game.
We've said all season, this is the most talented group of role players Dallas has had. And that's pretty much what they're relying on. And, PJ Washington, he's a mainstay. But, Kai Jones just fitting right in. Obviously not somebody that Dallas, was even on the Dallas roster as of, up until, late February. But, Spencer Dinwiddie is a very capable player who can fit into this role. Klay Thompson is Klay Thompson. He had a stretch in the second quarter that was, a throwback that made me sad that we haven't had these mini moments of Klay Thompson just being the guy who can go off, who can go on a little personal run of his own, and then Najee coming off the bench. This is just a competent, good player. Brandon Williams was, not his, this was not his best game of this run that he's been getting, but it was a commendable send off. He was good. He was a pace changer, a tempo setter. And it's just like a team like this, even when AD is not his best, 18 points on 23 shots, it's a good team. It's a really structured team, and it can beat a team like Chicago. As good as Chicago has been running, talent-wise, Dallas is superior to them. Just straight up. Like that is a reality of the situation. And Dallas came out with a win.
Yeah, I mean, just look at okay, so the Mavs just played the Bulls. The Bulls, their previous game was against the Lakers. Now, granted, it was an equally close game. The Bulls just happened to win it, but they closed out Luka and LeBron to win a game at home. The Mavs just played the Magic the other day and beat them. The Magic tonight crushed the Kings.
Yeah.
They beat the Kings by 30. And so, they're beating teams that are playing well right now, that are generally in good form. Now, last week they played Indy and lost in pretty horrifying fashion. Mm-hmm. And I think we all kind of thought it's super over at this point. If you're gonna blow a 7-point lead with a minute left or whatever, then your season's doomed. And that's on the heels of them losing to Philly. And I feel like there are a lot of they had lost 9 out of 10 at that point. There were a lot of people, many of them are in chat right now, that are like, dude, just tank, just get it over with. And we were saying the same thing. We were saying the same exact thing, just stop. But the people in the room disagree. The players still playing hard, and they're starting to turn some of those icky losses into wins. And that was something we said after that Pacers game is the thing I'm looking for down the stretch is, can these guys that are closing games that they're not necessarily used to being on the floor in closing situations, or if they're vets, maybe they haven't been out there in a long time. When was the last time Spencer Dinwiddie was closing out games? It's been a few years,
2022.
Yeah.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah.
Now they're
important playoff standing games. Yeah.
Yeah. And so their last 5 games, they beat Detroit, looked way better than them in the clutch. They beat Brooklyn by 1 million, lost to the Knicks by 1 million. They beat Orlando in the clutch. Orlando's a team that has a little bit of experience, was kind of young. And then they did the same thing to the Bulls tonight. They're starting to win close games after losing 2 really, really embarrassing ones.
And they've been in a bunch of clutch games too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5-4 in the clutch though since the All-Star break, which is
it's not bad.
Considering, no stars for most of that. Now, they've had AD the last couple, but Kyrie has not been in really any of them. And so the fact that they're able to win these games without star guards is like that does mean something to me.
7 players in double figures for the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Klay Thompson with 20. PJ Washington with 19. Anthony Davis with 18. Kai Jones, how about him with another 15 points tonight? Spencer Dinwiddie with the 14 points and the double-double that we mentioned. Najee Marshall with 14. And Brandon Williams in his final game on his two-way deal, 12 points. The Mavericks are now 7-1 this year when they have 7+ players score at least 10 points. A real team effort for this team, getting contributions from a number of individuals to be able to get another win and to go 3-1 on this road trip. We have been talking about the importance of the games against the Orlando Magic and the Chicago Bulls, how that could boost the chances for the Mavericks in terms of securing a top 10 spot in the Western Conference. We mentioned it throughout the course of the pregame show. With the win tonight now, the Mavericks are officially 9th in the West by virtue of Sacramento getting blown out by
We're number 9. We're number 9. Get them up. Come on, let's go. This is huge.
That is
Which hand should you tuck the thumb in on?
Whichever one you want, man.
that's 9.
Whichever one.
As long as you can
What
count
if-
to 9.
We're doing it.
What if I do this?
That's also fine.
That's anyway you get to 9, that's how you get there. So that's where the Mavericks are in terms of 9th in the Western Conference, and we know what the kind of hellacious schedule that the Phoenix Suns have down the stretch. The Kings, with their loss earlier today, have now lost 9 of their last 12 games themselves, and they still have a game at the end of the regular season against the Phoenix Suns. Meanwhile, the Mavericks, of course, they've got Brooklyn on Monday before they welcome in Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks on Wednesday. So a team that has been finding it. Bob, you talk about it all the time. It's not about who you play. It's about when you play them. And right now, the Mavericks seem to be the beneficiaries of that very saying, given the teams that they're coming up against and finding ways to get wins against some of these ball clubs down the stretch here.
Pretty soft stretch of schedule right now. They're playing, 9 or 10 straight games against the East.
That's
One
right.
of them to the Knicks, and they got the doors blown off. And Indy's playing really well, but they're beating all these bad teams, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're beating a lot of bad teams right now. Detroit had been playing well, but they're only like a few games ahead of the Mavs in the league-wide standings. So, they're about to play Brooklyn and Atlanta at home. Those are 2 games the Mavs should win. And I said before pregame, in the last 8, you're probably going to have to win 5 in order to make the play-in. Well, they already got 1. If they beat Brooklyn and Atlanta, that's 3. And then you're going to play the Raptors at home in Game 81. You're going to win that game. That's 4. So can you beat the Clippers once or the Lakers once? Or can you win that last game of the year at Memphis?
And one of those games against the Clippers, you'll probably have to do without Anthony Davis because it's a back-to-back.
Yeah, I don't know about Kawhi for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to talk ahead of time. Like, hey, when are y'all sitting Kawhi? we'll play 80 for that one. And then y'all can play
Right,
Kawhi.
they'll figure out which one won't play in the other game and
Yeah.
play the other one.
I've told the story before, but usually that's a known thing, right?
Kind of negotiate.
I've told the story about how I knew Boban was starting Game 5 the morning of that game, right?
Was it shoot around Jersey?
I've told the
Or did you hear about
story on record on a podcast before, but I knew I was told by someone. So Boban starts. It was Game 5, right?
Yes.
Because Dallas had won the first 2,
Mhm.
and then they lost the next 2, and maybe it was Game 6. It was
Game 5.
This is Game 5.
It was Game 5. So
Yeah.
they're going to make a big change, and they're going to put Boban in the starting lineup. And I got tipped off to it by somebody who would know. And I chose not to report it that morning because of the discretion of, as a reporter, I never want to be accused of, altering the actual game on the court. You report about everything around it.
By withholding it, instead you were just Mav State Media.
I guess I was Mav State Media. But what happens at the pregame press conference? Ty Lue comes to the presser and says, well, I think Mavs are going to go big. They might go with Boban. He knew. What I'm trying to say is that if it ever gets to the media, it has absolutely gotten to everybody
Somebody already
associated
knows.
on both sides of the game.
Sure.
So I'm not saying for sure that, Kawhi and AD is like literally a handshake agreement, but I am telling you that the info of who is going to play, who isn't, what is happening in these situations is much more known than you think. It's a pretty open secret, and, it matters a little bit more like, who's not going to play or who is going to play. That matters a little bit more than starting lineups, but it is a situation where both teams may kind of have a sense of what the other is going to do and may plan around it.
Yeah, man, y'all might want to put y'all flags away because nobody's capturing it here in Dallas. Y'all might want to let that go. Shout out to Cooper Flag, who's headed to the Final Four with Duke. But yeah, there's no capturing the flag around here in Dallas.
I will say this, KG, about it, and I'm not trying to sound like a condescending D-bag whenever I say this, but like if the Mavs would have lost every game the rest of the year and gotten as high as 10th, I don't think they could have gotten to 9th.
9th would have been close.
Yeah, it's possible, but
yeah,
at 10th, I believe they had a 3 or 4% chance at the number 1 pick.
This is 10th to last.
10th worst. Yeah, 10th in the lottery order. Yeah.
Right.
There's too many like real bad things happening in my life and in this world for me to lose sleep over a 3% chance. Like, I'm just not going to do it. They could make the plan and lose and have a 0.5% chance or a 1% chance. It was probably never going to happen. We just got to let it go. We got to let it go.
Yeah.
Despite what we all think they should have done.
Yeah. Let's take our first break here on the DLS Mavs post-game show. When we come back, some of the turning points in this game that allowed the Mavericks to get it done, including a big night for Klay Thompson, especially in that second quarter. All that and more coming up next here on the DLS Mavs post-game show.
I still cannot stop thinking about those Papa Shop poppers the other night and the giant beer towers. We had 2 of them. We shared one with the Stars.
Can I get a Gatorita for this post-game show?
Craig
I
Ludwig's
need one of them.
eyes lit up like the 4th of July whenever I brought that bad boy down. And it was all thanks to our friends at Happiest Hour. They also set us up with some other appetizers too. We got a barrel of pickles. Previous week we were at the place. We went to the restaurant.
That's
we got
right.
some Gatoritas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we had a giant pretzel. It was unbelievable. They got so much cool stuff happening. Showing every single NCAA tournament game. They got more than 40 screens at their bar, too. So if you ever want to go check out the game, it's a big weekend. Then obviously next Monday, April 7th, is the championship game. They're having a watch party. They're going to give away a bunch of prizes to people that go, including, a little birdie told me, they're giving away a bunch of DLS gear that night, too. I think 10 or 11 lucky winners going to take home some merch. So if you're ever going to go to a game, want to watch some college games, go there. If you're ever at a Mavs game or a Stars game, go pregame, go postgame at Happiest Hour. It is great, great, great stuff.
The cells in our bodies are the building blocks of life, and Timeline is a supplement that works with those cells to help you give more energy, to help you feel stronger during workouts and preserve health and mobility as you start to age. Obviously not a problem that any of us have.
Nope.
Us 21-year-olds. But for you, dear listener, if this is something that you're interested in, if you're still somebody who is going and working out and just being like, man, it's not quite what it used to be. Okay, full honesty, that is definitely where I'm at in my life. And so I love Timeline, whose patented ingredient is MitoPure. It's a postbiotic nutrient that clears out dysfunctional mitochondria, aka your cell's battery packs. With regular use, you'll see and feel the difference in the form of improved energy levels, better workouts, faster recovery, more endurance, and more. Right now, Timeline is giving you 10% off your order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/DLLS today to get started. That's timeline.com/DLLS.
Mavericks in 9th in the Western Conference after their win over the Chicago Bulls, as the Mavericks look to clinch a top 10 spot in the play-in tournament as of the season. If the season were to end today, the Mavericks would be hosting the 9-10 play-in game, and they would be hosting the Sacramento Kings. By the way, for those who want to know, when it comes to where the Mavericks are and standing in the NBA Tankathon, right now they're in 14th. So they currently hold the final lottery spot in the NBA draft lottery, if you're into that sort of thing. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat have all of a sudden won 4 straight games and have shot up to 11th.
Do the Heat suck, or are they invincible?
Yes.
They can't decide.
They just can't decide on what it is.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, it depends on the day. Right now, if you were looking at it, the Mavericks are a game and a half behind the Suns for the 12 spot. The Phoenix Suns are 12th right now. Miami and Chicago tied for the 10th spot. They are 3.5 games ahead of Dallas, just to give you an idea of what it looks like to get into the top 10. And the Portland Trailblazers are 4.5 games ahead of the Dallas Mavericks in the lottery spot. So for those who are wondering,
the Bulls, by the way, are 9th in the East, and they're how many spots ahead of the Mavs?
They are 3.5 games ahead.
How many spots in the Tankathon?
That would be 4.
it is just life as an Eastern Conference team is just
heavenly.
It must just be the nicest thing in the world.
Okay, so
It's got to be just great.
So Dallas, when they get Lively and Gafford back next week,
which is coming,
and when they go into the play-in tournament facing Phoenix or Sacramento, you're going to win that game. Are they going to win the next game?
If they have to play at Phoenix, I'm not so sure. But I'm not sure Phoenix. I think Phoenix might be 11th.
So
it might be Dunskies.
Right now, as it stands, teams 6 through 8. The Clippers are in 6th. The Golden State Warriors are in 7th. The Minnesota Timberwolves are in
you got to
8th.
play Golden State? No, thank you.
That means
play Golden State in Golden State or play Minnesota in Minnesota. I don't love either of those matchups for Dallas.
Yeah, me neither. Playing at the Clippers is probably the easiest one, but Kawhi is a freak.
Yeah, and the importance of the difference between the 9 and the 10 seed is also essential because if you're the Mavericks and you remain there in that 9 spot, you will host the 9-10 game, which means you only have to win one game on the road. Versus if you're the 10 seed, you got to win not one but 2 games on the road to get yourself the 8 seed going into the postseason. So,
it definitely like playing at home and winning that game. I'm confident Dallas would win at home against either team, but I think they could win on the road. But just the extra travel, like playing at home just helps you in the next matchup against a team on the road that I'm not super confident in. I think LA is. I think you're right. It's probably the easiest one, even though I really like that team. But you're also like a James Harden coin flip away from just losing.
Yeah.
Because if he is James Harden,
then you're just doomed.
And some nights he is just James Harden. Some nights he just adds 12 to 18 points because the step back jumper that is basically you have no control over it. It goes in or it doesn't. And you hope you don't get him on a night where it goes in. And that's a really tough draw. It's probably a better draw. But it's a tough draw to be able to just be facing that team. You said Kawhi. Kawhi's absolutely it. Like they have no weak points as a defense. There's nobody you can bully.
Yeah.
You can get them small. And James Harden, you can attack him a little bit. But the rest of their entire lineup, their entire rotation, is people that are not like mismatch huntable. Now, that would have mattered a little bit more to the team that, the pre-trade Mavericks. The team that exists now is very egalitarian, very fine moments that you can drive and attack and, get into the lane. But it is something that applies. Like, this is probably the Clippers outside of OKC. The Clippers are probably the least, matchup huntable team in the entire NBA.
Yeah, and the Clippers right now are hot. They've won 8 of their last 10 games, and Kawhi Leonard, who's already been ruled out for their game on Sunday against the Cleveland Cavaliers, over his last 9 games, averaging nearly 26 a game, shooting nearly 57% from the field and over 50% from 3. So he's playing like the old Kawhi Leonard that we're accustomed to when he's healthy. So the Clippers right now playing some terrific basketball as we go down the stretch. Remember, they have 2 games, the Mavericks against the Clippers on a back-to-back on April 4th. And 5th before what happened?
The super chat is awesome. Can I read that one?
Yeah, I got the $5 super chat.
Thank you, Tebow, for the super chat. Tebow Knievel, great chatter. Love seeing your comments in here. With the $5 super chat. Mavs fans so bad at odds. They truly believe they could get flag and pull that prismatic evolution Umbreon EX on the same night. That is a great super chat. We got basketball and Pokemon, 2 of my greatest loves in one super chat. I tip my cap to you, my friend.
What is Pokemon again?
Shut up.
I was going to ask a better question. I was asking a better question. So is that like a super ultra rare pull?
Extremely rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means Grant Williams will probably get it then.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, an extremely rare and also extremely cool looking card. Yeah, no, dude, hell yes. Thank you for that super chat.
Let's look at some of the turning points of tonight's game as the Mavericks were able to get it done over the Chicago Bulls on the road. Let's fast forward to the second quarter because the Mavericks found themselves down 50-38 with 6:40 left in the first half. But the Mavericks were able to respond with what would eventually be a 15-0 run led by, how about this, Klay Thompson, who had 3 3-pointers to cut it down to what was 1.
Work of art.
That is incredible. You're so excited.
I would rather have that than a Mavs championship.
Oh,
Really?
Wow. That's a
Would
lot.
you? No. Okay,
That's
so
a
that's
lot.
that's a different question. Would
Tanner,
you
turn your
trade?
mic on so we can
Would
hear
you
it.
trade
Yeah.
2011 for that card?
No.
Okay,
So you wouldn't rather.
so he's
have-
still Bobby.
Okay.
I was worried for a second.
And the folks listening know in the chat that that's a rare card. So thank you.
PSA 10 is valued at over $3,000. It would be not too bad.
I
Over
remember when I was
$3,000?
looking at the gray silver trash bag jerseys. One of them was listed for $5,000. So it was less valuable than the worst jersey the Mavs have ever worn.
How much is a championship and how much is a 2025 title worth to you? Let us know in the chat.
I wouldn't ask in that chat that question because
$5.
No, the chat's gonna be like, yeah, pay me $1,000 and I will consider
I
it.
will
Right.
take one Umbreon card for the championship.
But yeah, I mean, check it out, man. The Mavericks got it done in that second quarter. They held the Bulls out a field goal for 6 minutes in that second period and turned what was a 12-point deficit into what will be a 3-point lead. Klay Thompson, he's good for one of those quarters, man, where he had 12 points in that second quarter and really kind of turned the feel of the game around. And the Mavericks were able to get another double-digit quarter from Spencer Dinwiddie in the fourth period. But I thought the second quarter was really a quarter that changed the momentum in that specific time frame, really helped turn the game around for the Mavericks. And what was a game of runs between these two teams, a ton of lead changes, but the Mavericks were able to be the ones on the right end of what was a big run by Klay Thompson in that second quarter there.
Yeah, a lot of runs. Chicago impressed me. I understand why they've been streaking. I understand why they are, they found a little bit. Dlls, very impressive player.
That cat can play.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, a little 28, 9, and 6. Okay, talk to me. But I would say overall, again, I just come back to the fact that, this was not a shooting aberration by either team. Their numbers are about the same. Chicago had hit a few more threes, but some of them were
Dallas only made
trying to get
9.
back. Yeah.
Only 9 threes.
But a
Dallas
couple
made
of
tonight.
Chicago's were trying to get back into it late, and you knew they had to take threes. So all things equal, shooting can just decide a game. We know that in the NBA. But this wasn't one of those games. It was equal enough. And, Chicago, a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppiness.
Yeah.
That definitely affected things in the end. But the talent won out. I thought it was pretty clear that talent won out in the end, and Dallas was the more talented team.
How close their things can be on the margins in the NBA. So the Dallas Mavericks went 17 of 21 from the free throw line. They missed 4 free throws. Chicago went 19 of 24 from the free throw line. They missed 5 free throws. What was the margin of tonight's game?
It was like 12?
No, it would be a single point.
All those turnovers, man.
Oh, just 1 point. Okay, yeah. I accidentally put a 2 onto what I
Got it.
There's a scorebug in the corner.
Yeah, that's shout out to you, Tanner. That's right. All
yeah,
that
but I
hard
thought
work.
I thought that might have been for a different Mavericks Bulls.
The Bulls
game.
are just very young and very chaotic, and
But that's my bad, Tanner.
you have to be able to keep your cool going up against teams like that. They just play fast. It's exhausting. It's a little
Frenetic.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
there's
good
just
word.
there's just a lot of it's the kind of game I was in the jumped in Discord at halftime and was like, my lungs hurt just from watching that game.
Yeah.
It's just very exhausting psychologically and just kind of like, whoa, kind of like you're on drugs for half the time. And so, for them to keep their cool and keep their wits about them was really good. And I mean, the Mavs have really scaled back their turnovers a lot lately too. I mean, just generally like game to game, they're just not committing as many as they were, a month or two ago. They're probably getting a little more comfortable, playing with each other, and certainly, having better players back helps that quite a bit too.
I just think competitive advantage, if they move the arena to the top of Willis Tower, they'll tire out the opponents. Kind of get a Denver situation going on. If you're going to run this fast, you might as well. Honestly, Denver should trade Jokic. Actually, no, he runs pretty fast.
When he
He's
wants
an
to.
outlet.
When he
Yeah, well,
wants to.
but he's the guy who triggers the fast breaks. But I'm just saying, if you're a fast break team, go up, elevation, put your stadium on a mountain.
That is correct, Sarah.
That's what Uruguay does. Paraguay.
Oh, okay.
You guys know about this? Their international soccer stadium is it's the highest elevation of any national team arena, and they just play up there, and all their players are They're domestic players. They
Oh, I
don't
didn't
play
know
in
that.
Europe.
No, I didn't know that.
But it's so hard to play against them because you are literally breathing oxygen every moment you get because they're acclimated to it and their players are acclimated. And you're going into a situation that is like a laboratory to make it hard for you to play.
It's like Denver. Denver
Paraguay,
plays it,
right?
Denver plays at
Paraguay.
altitude. And that's right.
Oh,
Sarah.
but this is like twice as high.
Lil Boozy Vert is Matas Bluzellis' nickname. That is legitimate, actually. So shout out to him.
Sanctioned?
Yeah, that's his legitimate nickname. Little
Wow.
Boozy. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, you didn't know that?
no.
Yeah, Lil Boozy Vert.
All right.
Yeah. Shout out to Metellus.
Good for him.
He was fantastic. By the way, especially Dinwiddie, just 2 rebounds shy of a triple double.
Bolivia. I'm so sorry. Bolivia.
I'm glad you got that right.
Yeah.
What a correction. There you go. Chat already helping you out. It's Bolivia, not Paraguay.
Thank you.
That's
I messed that one up.
That's all right. Let's take our next break here on the DLS Mavs postgame show before 10 messes up any more. altitude soccer.
13,500. 13,000 feet in the
We
air.
have to go to ad break.
I know.
Verify that, chat. Let's take our next break here on the DLS Mavs postgame show. When we come back, we'll hop in the Cato's corner for more soccer elevated stadiums. We'll do that next on the DLS Mavs postgame show. But owning a home can be challenging. If you own some property, you know this is one of the worst times of the year because you get that dreaded letter in the mail that tells you what your property tax is going to be owed for this upcoming year. But I got someone who can help you out, and it's Ownwell. Ownwell knows that owning property can be challenging, but they believe when it comes to paying property tax, you should only pay what's fair. Ownwell handles everything for you from start to finish and delivers top results. No upfront costs as well, and you only pay if you save. I got to make sure that I know exactly what I'm paying for my property taxes, and I need somebody to help me, and I can sign up in 3 minutes for them to be able to do the work, find the research, and make sure that I don't pay any more than what I need to. 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction with an average customer savings of over $1,100. Hundreds of thousands of happy customers and 5-star reviews. So remember, the deadline to protest is May 15th for most counties here in Texas. Save money on your property taxes with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com/DLLS. That's OWNWELL.com/DLLS today.
I set up a Monarch Money account last week, guys.
Let's go.
It's been awesome.
Look at you growing up.
It really has been cool because I now have some cash in some different accounts, and it's kind of hard and honestly really annoying to keep up with all of that stuff because first off, 2-factor auth everywhere, really obnoxious. I'm forgetting passwords. I'm having to change them. Like, it's just a complete bummer to have to do that all the time. But Monarch just tracks it all for me all in one place, and better yet, the app will also give me some goals. Like if I want to save up a certain amount for something, if you're a homeowner, KG, and you're trying to, consider refinancing or paying off the mortgage, or if you just want to go on vacation, the app is really good at showing you where your money's going, how you're spending it, and how you can save it or spend it more responsibly. It's just awesome. I've really, really enjoyed it so far, and I'm looking forward to, seeing how I'm able to change my spending habits over the next few months. And you can get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use code DLLS at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DLLS.
With 7 games to go, the Dallas Mavericks are now 9th in the Western Conference after their 121-19 win over the Chicago Bulls, now moving to 4-0 when Anthony Davis is playing in a Dallas Mavericks uniform so far this year. Jason Kidd reacting to the win after the game tonight is courtesy of Mike Curtis of the Dallas Morning News, where Jason Kidd said, quote, "When we left, I think we were 11th. We were just focused on one game at a time. As you know, this group is close. We're fighting for each other. We're executing the game plan to end this road trip with a dub and go 3-1 is big time of the year, no matter what the record is," end quote. Tim Cato. That's how we hop into Cato's corner as the Mavericks get it done on the road.
Cato's corner is tracking the Dallas weather because I've got to walk home after this show.
Me too.
I've got to walk a little further than you, but yeah, we're in the same boat. And
what's it looking like?
What is it looking like? Let's go to our meteorologist.
All right. Well, as
Let's go
you
to our
can
weatherman,
see
Bobby
here,
Corella.
so there's really
Imagine this is a green screen.
there's
Yep.
really not much happening at our undisclosed location somewhere in the DFW Metroplex, but
Near the arena.
roughly an hour from now, there will be a lot of things happening near our location in the DFW area. And KG, without doxing you, you will beat it home. You will not be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll be good.
Awesome. Okay, great.
KJ, without
all is well.
KG, without telling you what to do, let's end right on time.
Oh my
Got
gosh.
you. Yeah, no problem.
Can we do some trivia?
Yes.
You need to ask Cato in his corner.
Can I-
I'll have a couple things to say, but I'm ceding Cato's corner to.
Oh,
Bobby
look at
for
you!
trivia.
Look at you! Let's
I'm
go.
psyched. I love trivia.
Let's go.
Okay.
I was so. Can you at least acknowledge that last time you had trivia off air,
Acknowledge me.
I nailed one.
You did. No, that was great. It was really
Somebody in
good.
the chat will
honestly.
get that reference.
Miles Plumlee, for the record.
All right, so the Mavs tonight had
Mason?
5 players pull down at least 7 rebounds. PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, Kai Jones, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Najee Marshall all had at least 7 boards.
They still got out-rebounded by 15.
There have only been 2 times
funny.
in franchise history
Okay.
where more players than that have grabbed at least 7 rebounds in a game. In both instances, they did it. 6 players did it at least 7 times. I will tell you the year, not the season, the year of those 2 games. We can go one by one, and you have to guess, thanks to some help from our friends at StatHead, the players that did it. Starting in 2013. Chat, feel free to play along.
This is the Mavs 13.
6 Dallas Mavericks grabbed at least 7 rebounds in a game. I'll give you the date. On March 10th, 2013. Name those players.
Nowitzki, D'Alembert.
Damn it. I
No.
was gonna say
Dirk,
Dallas.
yes, but no. You got to go
not
one at a time.
D'Alembert,
One at a time.
Josh Howard.
Very wrong.
2013.
Out of the league. by
Oh,
then.
no. Yeah, never mind.
What are you?
My bad.
Josh Howard.
My bad.
Elton
My
Brand.
bad.
Elton Brand. That is one of them. That's great.
Chris Kaman.
Chris came and did it.
Oh, those are good pulls. Oh, damn. Damn, fresh out.
Oh,
Blair.
no. Huh?
Blair.
Not
DeJuan
on the
Blair?
team. Not on the team.
Vince Carter.
Vince Carter did it. That's 4. We are missing 2 names. Chat, if any of y'all guess it, don't cheat. If any of y'all guess it, you're...
This is
I just
hard.
guessed. It's back to you. Okay, it's
Oh,
back
wow.
to
Darren Collison.
great.
Oh, wow.
Darren
Was he on the
Collison, that is a good guess, but no.
Oh, I was so 2013. You said it was April,
Dun, 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 March. Dun, dun,
March.
dun, 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 dun.
2013.
Cooper Flagg was not on the Mavs in 2013. I see a lot
Kevin
of y'all
Harris.
guessing him. No.
Mike James.
No. I'll just give you the answer.
No, 2 more?
Nahara.
Y'all got one more guess.
Wait, what? Name the 5 that we got.
You've gotten 4. Elton Brand, Vince Carter, Chris Kaman, and the GOAT, Dirk Nowitzki.
I'm gonna go with
This is so obscure.
Marion was off the team by then.
He was on the team, I think.
He was on the team. Marion.
No.
Okay.
You're out of
point
guesses.
guards were
Mayo. I don't think he was on.
OJ Mayo is one of them.
OJ
Great
Mayo's a
guess.
good
And the
guess.
last one is Brandon Wright.
Brandon Wright.
wow,
I
okay.
love
The
Brandon Wright.
helicopter.
All right, now, hard
Damn.
mode. Hard mode engaged responsibly. November 19th, 1999. 6
God.
Mavericks recorded at least 7 rebounds in a game. Can you name those players? Tim Cato.
Say the name again. The date.
November 19th, 1999.
1999.
Finley.
Oh, gosh.
Finley.
Tanner
Sorry,
already
John
guessed it, and he got it.
Dirk again.
Dirk again. Got it.
But you're skipping yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm skipping mine.
Nash. No.
No.
No. Yeah. Well.
No.
He was on the team.
This one's harder. This is way harder.
99.
99?
I can't believe y'all aren't getting this. Come on.
I don't know the team as well before.
Was Bradley still on the team?
Sean Bradley is one of
Sean
them.
Bradley's
Okay.
very
Oh,
good.
wow.
Sean Bradley's very good.
Hell, I was about to say Calvin Booth in a second, but I know
Was
that's not right.
LaFrance on the team?
No.
Not yet.
No,
right?
was
not
not.
yet. Yeah, he was a little bit later. I don't know that 99. Rodman.
No.
Was he on the team at that point, though?
No.
Clearly not.
Later
He
that
would've had-
season.
yeah, later that season.
All right, give us the other 3.
Hang on.
One more
Chris,
guess.
Chris Gatling.
No.
But was he around on the team around
he
that
was
time?
not on the team then.
But he was around that time, right?
He was a few years earlier. The correct answers, including Michael Finley, Dirk Nowitzki, and Sean Bradley, are Cedric Sabalos,
Oh.
Sean Rooks, and one of my first favorite players, Eric Strickland.
Eric
Oh,
Strickland.
wow.
I talked to Eric Strickland when I did a
Chris Gatling was still in
story,
the league at that time?
an oral history about Dennis Rodman's time on the Mavericks. I did that during the pandemic. And I talked to Eric Strickland. Do you want his phone number?
No.
Okay.
Chris Gatling was in the league. He was on Orlando at the time.
Wow.
He played
Okay.
85 games during the 99-2000 season.
How?
He played 45 with Orlando and then 40 with the Denver
Is that the
Nuggets.
most ever? In the
That's
regular
got to be
season?
the most ever.
85?
You're
Like,
able-
That's
like
incredible.
we
How do you
know,
do that?
we know
Michael
Mikal
Finley played
Bridges
83
played
one time.
83 recently. You know, there's been people who have played 83, even 84. I've never heard of 85. That's
Well,
insane.
Learn something new every day. Shout out Chris Gatling.
Wow.
All-star as a sixth man. He was.
He was.
Finish this off with Cato's Corner.
All right. What do you guys want to talk about? No, I thought Anthony Davis once again. I agree, maybe not 100%, but he's also like he rose for a dunk. This is a guy who's
He did try to punch one,
I
didn't he?
don't know if
Yeah.
he's not 100% or just not playing 100%. There's a difference between those two. He's playing cautiously. He's worried about getting re-injured, but like feels he's good enough to be out there.
I
mean,
think he's
that's
playing
like
100% of what he has.
I mean, Luka Doncic is somebody who played 100% of what he had a lot, or would never play 100%. This is something I thought that the thing that most stood out to me is Kai Jones is fitting into the team.
Kai Jones.
Yeah, I had mentioned on the show that I have been waiting to really assess his defense, and it can be all over the place at times. Maybe not the most disciplined player, but put him in the Mavs scheme and ask him to guard people, ask him to show up at the rim, and he did that multiple times. Like, it doesn't matter how much Josh Giddey should never challenge a big man trying to like scoop righty, at the rim. Like, that's just a bad finish. But this is something that is popping a little bit. I thought Najee was good. Once again, it's he's not ascending to superstar heights just because he, went off for 38 or whatever. But this is something that he remains a really important piece for Dallas. And hey, Quentin Grimes only scored 15 tonight. So everybody's coming back to earth. Everybody's coming down.
What about that
And-
Luka fella?
Also, Max Christie,
Yeah.
Max Christie he's a good player on a fully healthy team, but it's not quite there. It's no longer their Max Christie trade, I fear.
It's a tough choice they face with Kai Jones because, again, they can keep two. They can keep two of these two-way players. Between Kai, Brandon Williams, who played his last game tonight. Shout out to you, pal.
And next season, they can
Shout out to
three
Brandon
ways.
Williams.
They could, but all these guys are playing so well that some team is going to sign them.
Kai Jones has earned himself
there's
a
no
contract.
incentive for
Yeah.
any team to sign these guys right now unless you want them to sign them to a multi-year contract.
Yeah.
But then they wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs. They would only be able to play in the playoffs if they're on the Mavs. So,
Well, they're still going to be on the Mavs.
if the Mavs sign them to a
Yeah.
if the Mavs sign them to where they can play,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's really tough because all of them have played well enough to get an NBA contract with an NBA team that is trying to win games. Like the Mavs are trying to win games that all these guys are fitting in. Kai Jones is starting, for God's sake.
Yeah.
He won't be soon, but he's starting. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals. A little bit more trivia for you. I won't make you guess, but since Dirk retired, so since the end of the 2018-19 season, Kai Jones to do 15, 7, and 4. Kai Jones is one of them. Luka, Kyrie, Christian Wood, and DeLon Wright
I
Are
could
the-
have guessed all three.
are
of
the
those.
only other guys to do that.
Yeah, I
for the
could have nailed
Mavs.
that.
And
If
he
you
just
let me guess.
Kai Jones just did that tonight, going up against Vooch. Like, it's pretty tough.
How many times did Luka do it?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times.
Out of
Which honestly doesn't really seem that much.
He had 4 steals in a game 14 times?
13 times.
Yeah.
There you go.
That doesn't seem like I would have guessed it was more. to
He
be
was
honest.
top 10 in steals last season. So
No, I know. I'm saying I would have
Yeah.
guessed it was more.
Yeah, yeah.
well, you see the games where he tried on the defensive end.
right. Shout out to DeLon Wright who made that list. That's wow.
Yep, did it one time. It was a great performance in New Orleans. I was like, They did it.
Was that the game that
They got the ideal guard to play alongside Luka.
Was that the game that got him back into the starting lineup for one game?
Yep, and then he was never heard from again. That was a tough situation, dude.
Bomb signing.
Yeah. Yeah.
DeLon been around the league. Because I think he's 10 teams at this point, if I remember correctly. He's on there.
Yeah, I don't
10
know.
teams?
He deserved more minutes in Dallas.
There you go. Let's take our final break here on the DLS Mavs post game show. When we come back, let's check in on the Western Conference play-in and play-off standings, and a look around the league with some of the other scores as the Mavericks will have the day off tomorrow before they come back home to take on the Brooklyn Nets on Monday. All that and more coming up next year on the DLS Mavs post game show.
But first, let me tell you about how you can become a diehard. It has been a fun night in chat tonight. A lot of people fired up about this team right now, man. It's been really fun. We were down in the dumps for a while, but the Mavs are back to life. Another team that's back to life, the Dallas Stars. I haven't checked the score in a minute. They were losing earlier, but hopefully their winning ways will continue. Cowboys
up 2-1.
Let's
into the first.
Let's go. Cowboys
light
are
work.
trying to figure it out. The Rangers.
They won tonight.
Did they win tonight?
That's
okay,
right.
I know they were winning.
Went off, man. Let's go.
It's a great time to be a Dallas sports fan. Spring has sprung. All 4 teams have stuff going on. We're covering them all live on YouTube 5 days a week. But if you want to take your sport for us even further and get a whole lot of bennies while you're at it, scan the QR code beneath me, click the link in the description below the video, or go to alldls.com/diehard, where you can join our community of more than 1,000 members. Trying to find the words for that, my bad. When you sign up, you get a free shirt of your choice, like this one. Page, come on down. Or that one. Shout out DLS, the Dallas Skyline. We got more than 30 to choose from. You get a discount on any other stuff you want. You get to read the entire website, all the premium paywalled written stuff, including the Cowboys 100, which drops on Monday for all our NFL draft heads. You also get to join the DLS Diehard Discord server, great place to hang out, and you get a discount on events. We got our first golf tournament, our Lone Star Open, coming next month, April 25th, 9 a.m. start. It is going to be a great day out at Stevens Park Golf Course. You enter as a foursome, so you can register as an individual, get paired up with people, or you can play with you and 3 of your closest friends or most hated rivals. Either way, come hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. You don't have to be a diehard to go, but you get a discount if you do, and you also get your physical diehard card. Folks, there are so many reasons to become a diehard. Thank you to every single one of you who have and to every single one of you who will in the future. While I have the mic, can I brag a little bit?
It better be about FC Dallas who won today.
It better be a brag.
I'm going to brag about my sleeper performance this week.
Check
them. Creating some distance between me and last place Sam Nessler, Jeff Kavanaugh.
You're going to brag about this?
Buddy. Oh, I'm bragging.
About third place?
I was in 4th. Now I'm in 3rd.
Oh, okay.
This is worth celebrating. Jeff Kavanaugh coming for you. Jeff Wilson didn't even play last week. I guess he's just resting on his laurels. I'm taking the top spot, folks. That's all I got to say.
Look like you got a little work to do.
That's all I got to say.
We got a little work to do.
I'm doing it.
Barely 500.
Don't tell Josh Giddey, I guess, to score ever.
Bobby, you are headed right in the direction of like a 9th seed play-in.
Love it. That's right where I belong.
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah, Josh Giddey saw the Dallas Mavericks showed up and turned into, that guy again.
Yeah, he was less than 15 tonight.
Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, I believe. There you go. I believe right where it is. Real quick note on the opposition, Matas Buzelis, youngest player in Bulls history to go for at least 25 points, at least 5 rebounds, at least 5 assists, and at least 5 3-pointers in a game. Buzelis could play. Good player.
Paul Dano doing method acting. It's amazingly accurate. There will be blood.
Oh my gosh! And yes, shout out to our folks in the chat. Yes, FC Dallas did win today, 2-1 over Sporting Kansas City, my hometown, Kansas City.
How about
Missouri.
Crystal Palace advancing to the FA Cup semifinals?
Boo!
Oh, literally, Jeff couldn't play in Arizona.
Boo!
Not a good excuse.
Let's take a look at it, fellas, as we have the up-to-date Western Conference standings. Right now, the Dallas Mavericks find themselves in the 9th spot in the West at 37-38, a half game ahead of the Sacramento Kings, who lost today, who got blown out today by the Orlando Magic. The Phoenix Suns find themselves on the outside looking in at 35-39. So the Mavericks putting some distance between themselves and the Phoenix Suns. We bring that up because the Mavericks have 7 games to go, and it appears they are getting healthier. as the season has gone on. We heard from our very own Mark Stein earlier today that Dereck Lively II and Daniel Gafford's returns are imminent, looking like as this coming week is headed toward us that they will be returning for the Dallas Mavericks as well, which means Anthony Davis, Dereck Lively II, and Daniel Gafford will be seeing the floor by season's end, which for me, as you know, well on record of saying I did not think we would see any of these three gentlemen on the floor before the season's end, but give credit to them for getting themselves back healthy down the stretch here to have an opportunity to get on the floor. When exactly they will play, we are not sure as of yet, but our Mark Stein reporting that their returns are coming this coming week. So it's interesting when you start looking at what it's going to be for the next 7 games for them with, at some point, all 3 of these big men back. How does that look and change the feel of this team based off of their abilities, whether they're Davis, Lively, and Gafford are on minutes restrictions, what I imagine they will be given they're coming back from these injuries here, from conditioning and those kinds of things. How does that change what this team will look like down the stretch when those guys come back?
I mean, functionally, Dallas is still going to be starting a center next to AD with PJ playing the 3. But obviously, if both centers are back, it is going to look a lot different. It is going to be a different sort of team. And, you know, I have a lot of questions about the offense, but I have a lot of excitement for what this defense is going to look like. This is what was imagined when the trade was happened. Like it or not, this, you know, Dallas would be, you know, certainly if Kyrie was still healthy, they'd be a very, very good team. And I'm looking forward to at least seeing how good of a defense they can be. Because in a weird way, even though Kyrie being out, sure, he's not out there. And he's, you know, he is a defender who tries, like he can make his mark. Now, the downside is that because Kyrie is out, you have to play more offensive focused players, you know, especially in big games. And so, you know, I think the peak of the defense was imagined that one player, one defensive target. And again, I think Kyrie is somebody who holds up pretty well, but he is a smaller guard, you know, aging past 30. You know, it's just inherently he is always going to be the player that opponents pick on when they can. The fact that you have to put Spencer Dinwiddie out there, you know, for huge minutes at times, if you're growing up in, you know, if you're playing Oklahoma City, there's going to be a moment where Spencer and Jaden Hardy are both out there just because Dallas and Jason Kidd realizes they can't score. But I think you're going to see a really, really impressive defense. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's just I have a lot of questions about how exactly it looks and really how Dallas still finds their offensive identity, even when they have a defense that I am very confident is going to be top 5 in the league.
I'm a little worried about the offense. You know, Klay got crazy hot tonight, ended up knocking down 5 threes. But, you know, now that Brandon Williams is done, that's just one less guy that can generate offense. You know, that's one less guy with speed, with change of direction, ability to drive, straight line drive, or chain some moves together, pull up, be a threat to score from multiple spots on the floor. There just aren't a lot of other guys on the team that can do that. So I am a little worried that unless Klay just has one of those nights or PJ just gets really hot, like they need someone to just get really hot from deep in order to get, you know, consistently close to like 10 or 15 made threes. I'm a little worried about that, but I guess the whole model of this thing is to play better defense. You know, tonight was kind of a weird example of that. The over-under was 237.5, and
that's right.
Got to 239 thanks to a last-second three-pointer. So you ever think you're smarter than the house? You ain't. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. They're trading, obviously, what they did. I mean, Kyrie going out, I've heard that a lot, but they're trading threes for a lot of twos. A lot of twos right around the rim. Tonight was a layup line for most of that game. I mean, they just bullied the Bulls, and they didn't even have their 2 starting centers.
That's right.
So, like, they're just going to do that all the time when those guys come back.
It'll be interesting because when you look at this team and the roster makeup that they have, you mentioned no Brandon Williams going forward here. That means there's going to be a lot of heavy Spencer Dinwiddie minutes coming forward for this team. And, Tim, you've pointed out, you know, how many minutes that Dinwiddie's played. In fact, he played the most minutes of any Maverick so far this year. Tonight played another 36 minutes for the Mavericks. So that workload will continue to increase. In fact, all 5 starters played at least 30 minutes, including Anthony Davis, who played exactly 30 minutes in this game. Klay Thompson played 30 minutes. Bobby, you mentioned the fact that he made 5 threes. The Mavericks made 9 in total. So 5 out of the 9 came from Klay, and they missed 21 of the 30 that they took for 30% tonight.
And you're going to have nights where PJ or Anthony Davis make threes, but you can't expect that every single night.
Yeah.
You're going to have nights where Kai Jones makes threes, apparently, but you can't expect that every single night. So
that's true.
You know, it really is like the
he doesn't have many more nights left.
The people you expected to make threes.
Not cryptic. It's on the team. Like, nothing bad is going to happen to him. He's going to be fine.
Damn. Wow.
Yes.
Oops. But yeah, again, special shout out to Brandon Williams, who finished up his 2-way contract tonight. He played 15 minutes. He wound up having 12 points, was a +7 tonight. Had 3 assists in the game as well. And that is where
just had to throw it up there.
No, thank you. That's all I was going to call for it. With that being said, that is officially now 0 games left for Brandon Williams and 0 games for Kessler Edwards, with 7 games to go in the regular season. So the 2-way contracts for Brandon Williams and Kessler Edwards now officially 0. Kai Jones, you are now on the clock.
As we go.
But Kai's going to make it, though.
Pour one out. Man.
With 7 games left. Yeah, I'm going to say, please don't pour that out. Please don't do that. We cannot have stuff getting fried around here.
Man, 1 drop.
So there you go.
A single tier.
Sarah's like, F.
There's still 4 minutes left in this thing for you to go Dirk on it.
Am I going Dirk?
He's going full Dirk.
You're going full Dirk.
Kyrie.
Yeah, you're doing full.
I'd throw up a little Dirk Euro 3 sign.
That's right, Rolex.
That's my wave. Nobody's ever mentioned this, but like that's what I do at the end of every show, and I did it organically, not even realizing I was going to do it when we interviewed Dirk. And so I'm like, yeah, every time we sign off, I'm just going to throw it up.
Stein was not happy with you that day.
How many games does Kai have left?
I'm not sure officially on the amount, but I believe it's around 8 or 9. So I think he's going to.
He can play them all?
Yeah, he can make it.
I believe so because of how many he missed.
Oh,
yes.
That's awesome.
Yes,
good for him.
Yeah, so he will be. He'll make it. He's going to make it. But I mean, honestly, they may be able to save some of his games anyway because with Gafford and Lively coming back, you may be able to save it anyway. Exactly, Tanner. Exactly. Knock on wood. But that's where we are. So the Mavericks, look, man, they've won 4 out of 5 as they get ready to come home on Monday to take a Brooklyn Nets team that they probably didn't even need Anthony Davis to beat.
It's going to be belt to ass that game.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Calling it now. Unless Cam Thomas plays, that'll be a little scary.
Can Brooklyn get Cooper Flag right now? I guess the
Cooper
point
would
of
rather
not
stay on Duke
him,
right now.
Yeah, the point of not having him is so that you can get him.
Yeah. Brooklyn is racing to the bottom as fast as they can, and will do that much quicker.
They're going to get fined for it, or are they going to be okay?
No, probably not. They're going to escape fine.
That's cool.
But the last 7 games for this Mavericks team, at home versus Brooklyn, at home versus Atlanta, a back-to-back on Friday, April 4th, and Saturday, April 5th in Los Angeles, where they see the Wall when they take on the Los Angeles Clippers. Then they return home to take on Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers on April 9th. And then on Friday, April 11th, they'll welcome in Toronto. And then they will finish up on the road on April 13th at Memphis in a Sunday afternoon game on the road to finish up their season.
You think Memphis is going to have anything to play for?
Probably.
Maybe
the 4 or 5 seed is still up for grabs.
Or maybe they have to build chemistry with their new coach.
Maybe.
Man, listen, Taylor Jenkins getting dismissed is still one of the biggest surprises in the league, especially given the timing of it. But yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Los Angeles Lakers, especially if the Lakers win tonight, are now officially separated by just 1 game. So the 4-5 battle is up for grabs for home court advantage.
Sarah brings up a good point. One of the games that I kind of chalked up as an easy dub at the end of the year against the Raptors. Potential for an AJ Lawson revenge game there. So that game could be a little tougher.
Great point, Sarah.
Than we expected. But we'll see. We'll see. The only way to find out is to get there. There's one more revenge game right before that one that is occupying a little more space in our basketball brains.
They play Philly again?
No.
Oh, no.
No, not quite.
God, don't make me watch Quentin Grimes beat their ass again.
Appreciate our guy, Tanner.
I just showed leg.
making us look good and sound good as always. We are
You're
off
not Tim Legler.
on Sunday.
Get that leg out of here.
But we'll be back on Monday with our pregame show at 6:45 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports as the Mavericks host the Brooklyn Nets again. Our pregame show will begin at 6:45 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports.
Tomorrow we got a mini pod coming out. We recorded a conversation right before the game about the Facebook fight. All right. So if you want to get some takes, if you want to get our thoughts on that, it's going to be dropping on our channel around what time? 1-ish?
We said noon.
Noon, okay. Around noon o'clock Central Time.
Also on podcast feeds.
Yep.
That's Bobby Krell, our Mavericks analyst. That's our Mavs beat writer, Tim Cato. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. Mavericks get it done 120-119 over the Chicago Bulls. We will talk to you on Monday evening at 6:45 for the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Y'all be good and have a good rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.